Hey everybody, this is the Guardian Archangel. Do excuse any background noise. My AC is running heavy because it is super freaking hot and I require it. Anyways, this is going to be a little different from the previous videos on my channel. I'm trying various different formats to do things and just trying to see what works. So, as you can see clearly on screen, this is going to be a picture that I probably start most of my videos with to kind of not give away too many secrets about what the video is going to be labeled, with the exception of whatever I end up titling the videos, and God knows what I'm going to do with that one. As you can clearly see, it says heresy, and it's got a crusader. And generally speaking, it's a pretty funny meme. Very basic as far as memes go. But anyways, at almost 1 minute 30 seconds, let's get started. So, recently, I discovered a tweet that was really just, I wouldn't say depressing so much as most buzzwords that authoritarian neo-progressives tend to use, I don't like using, because I feel like the words themselves have essentially been bastardized to a point where using them only minimizes what the topic I'm trying to talk about is. But the image in question is this. You have Mayra Flores for Congress. She is a person who supports walkaway, and that doesn't mean she became like some mainstream crony corporate Republican by any means. It just means that she walked away from what she felt was not her party anymore. Probably the same as a number of people that are part of walkaway have. Now, I've censored the person's name on this image because the censoring feature on the app I use to screen capture is finicky. So I couldn't quite get the profile image off of there. But as you can see, 24 comments, 84 retweets, 1,398 likes at the time of me capturing that. And it's a picture of the "We Can Do It" or logo or whatever it is, woman punching herself in the face. And honestly, it's kind of offensive, and not offensive in a funny way, not offensive in a, oh, well, you're just being sensitive way. It's offensive in a really sexist way. And I don't use that term lightly, because what I view as sexism is very specific and closer to the definition back whenever it was being used properly. But this image is essentially a statement that says one of 3 or 4 potential things, possibly all of them. Republican women are stupid. Republican women are masochists. Republican women hate themselves. Or, Republican women are self-sabotaging and too stupid to know what they're voting for. The reason this really just annoys me to no end, and it's not about me being sensitive, it's not about me being like a snowflake or worried about canceling people or anything. This is the general definition of what it would be to be sexist. This is a guy, based off of what I could tell from his profile, who said, "This woman is stupid and self-hating because she decided to become a Republican. In what world do you get to decide a person making their own decision is stupid for making the decision, with the caveat that they had to invest into it? Now, we could talk about crypto or dozens of other instances where that would be okay. Criticizing a person is one thing. Criticizing their decision making is one thing, and there are dozens of other things that you could just talk about where you could be like, oh, well, you're ignorant in this regard. Oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. But this is the main view of what people, specifically neoliberals and neoprogressives, this is how they view Republicans. They think Republicans are all racists, fascists, bigoted, closed-minded racists who want to kill Jews, blacks, women, and literally put people back in chains. It's this weird, like, they view them as this diabolical cartoon villain that just hate everything but Christian white people, and only Christian white men. And I look at it, I'm just like, do you people not know any actual conservatives? Am I biased a little bit? Yes, but the reason is because I was raised by conservatives. But the thing is, I'm not. I took a spectrum test 3 or 4 different times over several different years, and every single time that I take the test, I score as a left libertarian, and an actual libertarian, not some BS made-up anarchist-like version of whatever people think is libertarian nowadays. But this image, in response to a person who is excited to be a person coming into Congress, I mean, listen to this. As a proud walkaway, I can honestly say it was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. If you voted for Biden or stayed home in the 2020 elections, don't make the same mistake in 2022. I am the first Mexican-born American citizen to be elected into Congress, which means not only was she born in Mexico, she came here legally, got her citizenship, and is going into Congress as a representative of Texas. That checks so many progressive tick boxes. She's Mexican, she's a woman, she's an immigrant, but these people don't actually care, because their understanding of words and reality is so warped and basically based off of propaganda. They literally take whatever the propaganda that has been spread for the past 30 plus years and go, okay, if we look at all of these movies and we look at all of these bad, angry white people, this is how we should view Republicans and conservatives. They're all woman-beating, woman-hating, like cult religious people who literally think that they're better than everyone else and want to murder Jews. Nowhere in any of the people I have personally dealt with in my life, especially in person, that has been a conservative is even remotely like that. Hell, in the South, if you don't have respect for the women in your family, the other men in the family will definitely make you very sorry for that, because they don't tolerate disrespect of that kind of, like that. And I'm Texas-born, not Texas-born. I'm Louisiana-born. I was raised there for the first 6 years of my life, then raised in Texas for the rest of my life. I am literally in the South. And I've been surrounded by religious conservatives for as long as I can remember. And I've never dealt with an issue where I get to see stuff like this and believe that it's acceptable. But here's the reason I'm posting the video. And I'm not salty so much as I think it's funny. So, this person right here, I'm not going to give their name, but it was definitely a male name, and it seems like a guy. So then you have this, which I was responded to. Adorable, but no. I ended up with a response where it says, replied the man. So, yes, I happen to be male. But the irony behind this is the fact that the person who posted the image also appears to be male. Which means it is a male belittling a woman because she is not following the narrative. She is not staying in the kitchen where she belongs and doing what she is told, which is following whatever the neo-progressive, neo-liberal agenda happens to be at that time. And you might think, well, you just keep tossing around right-wing talking points. I'm sorry, but when you deem that everything that is slightly to the right of Mao is right-wing, you've lost the plot. I'm pro-small government. I am anti-big corporation for the most part. I am generally not for higher taxes. I am somewhat for at least universal basic health care. And not advanced, no. Because I understand that there is so much out there that requires time, effort, and money. So do I agree that basic health care could be or should be covered? Potentially. I also could fall into the camp of going, well, it should be affordable if it's not free. Most of the things that I personally believe do not in any capacity make me right-wing. It's just the fact that being quote-unquote right-wing nowadays is literally just, if you don't agree with me, you're on the right. And it's weird because it's these pro-corporation, pro-big government, authoritarian leftists who call me right-wing, despite the fact that I'm left. And it's to a point where being called right-wing is an attempt to deplatform and smear people. That's all it is. And that's what it's become. If you're called a Republican, if you're called right-wing, they call you a Nazi, a fascist, or in the case of one of the people who replied to this account, they will go out to they'll call you a sock puppet. Because they don't have any actual rebuttals. There's no rebuttal. They're like, oh, well, you're just a sock puppet. No, I'm actually a real account who attempts to do my best to look at things as nuanced as I can. Will I always succeed at that? No, I will not. But here's the thing. This right here, I'm for free speech, generally speaking. Like, I'm not a free speech absolutist, but I am pro-free speech. This is disrespectful. And then you get this, replied the man. Yes, to another man who I personally believe was being sexist. Because if you respond to a immigrant-born woman who did her due diligence to come to the United States legally, got her citizenship, ran for Congress and won, but she isn't running as a Democrat, and you think, wow, women are so stupid when they're on the right because clearly they're self-sabotaging, they hate themselves, and they're masochists. Why can't they understand that they hate themselves? And it's sad because that's the same type of stuff you see from Democrats like Joe Biden. Because I'm not pro-Republican, I'm not pro-Democrat. I try to stay in the middle as much as humanly possible. But remember what Biden said. He said, and I quote, "If you don't know if you're voting for me or Trump, you ain't black." Do you understand what that actually means? They think they own you. If you are a woman or a minority or a person that is part of the LGBT in any capacity, you are seen as property of the left, of the Democrats. And then you're going to get the people who are going to be in the comments going, no, the Democrats aren't left, they're just right-wing. Okay, what if you're voting for them? Doesn't that technically make you right-wing according to your own standards? These people don't have any... How do I put this? Essentially, they do not in any way ever actually have consistency to anything that they say. Because the moment that they're losing an argument, one of three things will happen. They'll either move the goalpost back and say, okay, but, so they don't have to admit you're right. They will change the definitions of words and phrases in order to make your argument as tiny as possible and their argument as big as possible. Or they will double and triple down and ignore anything you say, no matter how reasonable or logical it may be, and just say, oh, well, I don't like that, or I don't believe that, and I don't care. This is going to be a trend in videos that you'll see probably from me in the future, but the majority, not all, of the people who fall under the authoritarian left on the political spectrum test are individuals who are pro-tyranny, and oftentimes pro-fascistic. Regardless of whether you want to say you can't be fascist and be on the left, you can be. It's just that it takes a different form. It's something akin to what I would refer to as probably New Age fascism or neo-fascism. It depends on how you view it. But this video has almost been 20 minutes. But I just wanted to show you. Look at this. Adorable, but no. 11 likes. Replied the man. 32 likes. These people right here are so brain dead. Because none of them responded to me. I had 3 or 4 different responses. One of which says, oh, says the right-winger talking about BS right-wing talking points. And then another person called me a sock puppet account. And I'm just like, I'm not angry. It's just baffling to me. Because this is me responding to a person with a male profile name and several instances in their account of them showing that they're potentially male. So it's a male responding to a male who was responding to a female and belittling her because she decided that she didn't want to be a part of the Democratic Party anymore. Which is funny because her being Mexican means that she's probably anti-abortion. Guess where the Democrats sit? Pro-abortion. And you might be like, no, the Democrats aren't pro-abortion, they're pro-choice. No, they're not. They are pro-abortion. Because there are authoritarian leftists out there right now firebombing crisis pregnancy centers because they want to force you to have an abortion or give you no alternative. Anyways, that's my take. This has been the Guardian Dark Angel. Hopefully not all of my content will be based around this type of stuff. But hey, if it is and you like it, support it. If it's not and you want to see a change, let me know and I'll do what I can. Peace out.